He called himself the Burger King of Los Angeles, but nobody knew his secret ingredient was human flesh until the night his own wife found out and ended up as his next recipe. This story is not a movie. It's not a rumor. It really happened, and it will make you think twice before walking into a quiet little burger shop. Meet Daniel Cruz, a 38-year-old chef who ran a popular roadside diner in Los Angeles. People called him Danny the Burger Guy. Always smiling. Always grilling. He made the best burgers in town. Big, juicy, with a taste no one could explain. Customers came from all over the city to buy his food. Some even said, "It's like nothing I've ever tasted before." But they didn't know the truth, because behind the kitchen door, Daniel was hiding a secret so disturbing, it shocked even the most experienced detectives. Daniel's diner had been around for 5 years. Small place. Blue neon sign. A few plastic chairs outside. But every day, there was a line. People loved his burgers. The secret? He told everyone it was his special spices from Mexico. But no one knew what really made his burgers taste different. Until one night, his wife, Sandra Cruz, came home early from her sister's house. She wasn't supposed to be back until morning, but she forgot her phone charger and decided to stop by. That one decision changed everything. Sandra walked through the back door of the kitchen, and what she saw made her drop her purse. On the metal table was a large piece of human flesh, half wrapped in plastic. There was blood on the floor, and the meat grinder was still spinning. Sandra screamed. She ran out of the kitchen and locked herself in the bathroom. She started texting someone, we don't know who. But Daniel was fast. He broke down the bathroom door, dragged her out screaming, and the next morning, she was gone. When customers asked where Sandra was, Daniel said, "Oh, she left me. Ran away with some guy." Women, right? And people believed him. But 3 days later, one of Sandra's close friends, Marissa, came to the diner. She looked Daniel in the eyes and said, "Where is she? I don't believe you. I'm going to the police." That night, Daniel closed the diner early. Police got an anonymous tip the next morning. When they arrived at the diner, they saw the grill still hot. A batch of burger meat was still on the counter. But they found something strange. A human finger buried in the grease trap. And it didn't stop there. In the freezer, they found body parts. Legs. Arms. Even a head. Some labeled in plastic bags. Others already seasoned. One of them was confirmed to be Sandra. But here's the most chilling part. When police went through Daniel's phone, they found messages. Messages that revealed Sandra had known the truth all along. She had discovered Daniel's secret 6 months before. And she didn't tell anyone. But because Daniel threatened her. If I go down, you're going down with me. You've eaten it too. Just when they thought they had all the answers, detectives opened Daniel's journal. What was written inside? She was going to tell. I had no choice. I loved her. But I love my recipe more. I only used the ones nobody would miss. The homeless. The addicts. The runaways. I was giving them purpose. Because police later found security footage of Daniel dragging a body-sized trash bag into a van. That footage was from 2 days ago. Daniel was supposed to be in jail. So who was in the van? And where is Daniel now? Monica's sudden disappearance didn't sit well with her younger sister, Linda. Linda had always admired Monica's strength and honesty. So, when Monica stopped replying to her messages, she got worried and decided to visit the couple's home in Los Angeles. When Linda knocked, Ben didn't answer at first. The second time, he opened the door, looking tired and oddly nervous. His hands were shaking. I haven't seen Monica, he said quickly. She left. But something didn't feel right. The house smelled strange, like burnt meat. Linda saw Monica's favorite shoes near the couch. Her phone charger was still plugged in. Ben told her to leave. Monica doesn't want to talk to anyone, he said. Linda walked away slowly, but deep down she knew something was very wrong. The shocking discovery. A week later, a woman filed a complaint after eating at Ben's secret night food truck. She said her burger tasted weird. The cops didn't take it seriously until a former butcher working nearby reported something disturbing. He claimed Ben had once offered to buy bones. The police got a warrant and searched Ben's home and secret basement. What they found would haunt the entire city of Los Angeles forever. Inside a deep freezer were body parts. Human body parts. On the counter, a meat grinder. On a nearby shelf, a wedding ring with the name Monica engraved on it. Ben was arrested immediately. But that wasn't the end. During questioning, Ben said very little. He kept mumbling, "She was going to ruin everything. She was going to expose me." Investigators found Monica's diary in her drawer. Her last entry read, "If anything happens to me, please know I tried to help people. Ben is not who the world thinks he is." When the news hit the internet, the killer chef who sold human burgers, the world went silent. People who had bought burgers from Ben's food truck were now rushing to hospitals, police stations, churches, screaming, crying, throwing up. Some believed they had unknowingly eaten human meat. And the worst part, CCTV footage from inside Ben's kitchen showed him calmly seasoning meat, smiling at the camera. The meat on the table was clearly not from any animal. When the cops asked him what he felt, he said coldly, "I did what I had to do. She made me choose. And I chose my business." But here's the chilling truth. They still haven't found Monica's full body. And some believe there are other victims. Some believe Ben was running this for longer than anyone imagined. And the question everyone is now asking is, how many people unknowingly ate his food? After Ben's arrest, the entire city of Los Angeles was in shock. News spread fast. Social media blew up with the hashtag #KillerChefBen. People lined up outside the police station, shaking, crying, begging to know what they had eaten. One woman, Maria Lopez, came forward with a trembling voice. She said, "I bought a burger from Ben's truck 3 times. My son loved it. He said it tasted better than McDonald's. Now I can't sleep. I keep thinking, what if? Another man, Gerald, sat outside the truck's last location, holding his stomach. He smiled at me. He gave me extra sauce. I trusted him. Every time a victim spoke, the guilt, fear, and confusion grew. Detectives went back through Monica's old emails and discovered she had been gathering evidence for months. She had been secretly recording Ben's late-night movements, noting strange deliveries, and even trying to get in touch with an investigative journalist. In one of her last unsent emails, she wrote, "I think he's cooking humans. I think he's done it before. I don't know who to trust." That email was never sent. It was saved as a draft. When investigators went deeper into Ben's house, they found a second locked door inside the basement, hidden behind shelves stacked with fake flour bags. The key was found in a jar of old coins. Inside that room was a nightmare. Pictures of missing people. Even clothing from teenagers who had been reported missing in the area years ago. One disturbing photo was taped to the wall. Monica, standing in the kitchen, smiling. The word liar was scratched across her face with red ink. Who was Ben? Really? A deep dive into Ben's past shocked everyone. He wasn't born Ben Carter, as his business name claimed. His real name was Bernard Kessler, and he had once been admitted to a mental hospital in Oregon as a teenager after he killed a cat and cooked it in his mother's oven. He was released at 19 and changed his name. That was never on his restaurant record. Nobody checked. Nobody knew. One horrifying fact. Some of the meat from Ben's truck had already been distributed to local vendors before his arrest. Investigators couldn't track them all. To this day, many people don't know if they were part of the horror. But there's one last clue. Inside Monica's old laptop, hidden in a folder called Hope, was a 17-second voice recording. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "If you're listening to this, please tell my sister I tried to stop him. Please don't let him hurt anyone else. And if he lies, check the red freezer." That's the same freezer where they found her wedding ring. But Ben isn't talking anymore. Since the last court hearing, Ben has refused to speak. He stares at the wall and smiles. The judge asked if he had anything to say. He answered, "You liked it, didn't you?" And then something even darker happened. A new report just came in. A man in San Diego, 2 hours from Los Angeles, was arrested for selling meat out of a van. When asked where he got his recipe, he said, "From Chef Ben. He taught me everything." 2 weeks after Ben's final court hearing, the news broke again. A man named Trey Mathis, a quiet 34-year-old who drove a white van and sold tacos at construction sites in San Diego, was arrested. Inside his van were frozen packages labeled "Special Ground Meat, Homemade." Police found handwritten notes in his back seat. "Ben is a genius. They don't deserve to know. The flavor is in the pain. Monica was weak. I won't be." The most terrifying part? He had never met Ben in person. He was one of Ben's online followers from a dark cooking forum called Meet the Real You. Ben had been teaching, quietly, anonymous, long before he was caught. A week later, Ben finally spoke. But not to the judge. Not to the police. Not even to a lawyer. He wrote a letter. It was addressed to Monica's younger sister, Cassie. The envelope was marked with a red thumbprint. Inside was a one-page note in Ben's twisted handwriting. "Dear Cassie, you always saw me as the smiling guy with a dream. That's what I was. Until your sister made me feel seen, then left me rotting in her silence. Tell the world what they already know. The taste of power is addicting. And if they think I was the only one, they haven't checked the freezers in Oregon or the lake in Texas. I'm not gone. I am legacy." Cassie dropped the letter when she read that last line. She hadn't told anyone about the family cabin in Oregon. Not even Monica. Detectives rushed to the Oregon property. It was dusty, abandoned, and cold. In the cellar, they found jars. Over 40 of them. Inside were teeth, hair, fingernails, and handwritten dates, some going back 12 years. There were names too. At least 9 names matched missing persons cases from nearby towns. Each jar had a label. Served. Though she didn't live to see justice, Monica was praised for her courage. Her recordings. Her notes. Her voice saved lives. A memorial was held in Los Angeles. But something strange happened. At the memorial, a man in a dark hoodie placed flowers on her photo. The flowers were laced with red powder, later identified as dried pig's blood. He left a note. "She started a war. You killed a chef. But there's still a kitchen." Security cameras couldn't catch his face. And just like that, the mystery widened again. 3 months after Ben's letter arrived, Cassie went missing. She had told a friend she was going to write a book about Monica's story and possibly visit Texas to follow Ben's clue. She never came back. Her car was found abandoned at a gas station outside of Dallas. Her suitcase was untouched, but the back seat had a plastic butcher's apron with the words, "You kept digging. Now you're next on the menu." The truck was auctioned off and destroyed. Ben was sentenced to life without parole. The copycat in San Diego got 40 years. But still, some people say they see new food trucks with no names. They say a man smiles too hard when you bite into your burger. They say the sauce always tastes like sorrow. And some believe Cassie is still out there, waiting for someone to find what Monica never did. 5 years have passed since the case of Ben Carter, the cannibalistic food truck chef, shocked America. His infamous nickname, the Street Butcher, has faded from national headlines. But not from memory. The cookbook he secretly authored online, under the alias Chef Bone, has re-emerged on dark forums. Its pages detail not just recipes, but hunting tactics, meat preservation techniques, and how to erase a digital footprint. Since its rediscovery, 7 people have vanished in small towns, each near local food festivals. Detective Luis Moreno, a 28-year-old rookie in Houston, grew up hearing about Monica's bravery and Cassie's disappearance. He became obsessed. One night, Luis received an anonymous package. No return address. Inside, a faded, blood-splattered page from Chef Bone's secret cookbook. The recipe was titled, "Sister Stew, Slow Cooked for Vengeance." Luis froze. In the corner of the paper was something scribbled in blue pen. "She's not dead. Just pickled." Guided by the clues, Luis followed a trail to an abandoned salt factory in southern Texas. Deep inside, in a sealed concrete wall, Investigators found a metal drum submerged in old brine. Inside, a decomposed body with Cassie's DNA. But that wasn't all. In the wall, there were jars again, like in the Oregon cabin. Each one labeled with dates after Ben's arrest. Meaning, someone else continued his work. And that someone was never caught. Just days after Cassie's remains were found, Ben Carter died in prison. Not from illness. Not from suicide. He was poisoned. The autopsy found traces of ground glass mixed into his last meal, delivered by an unknown visitor pretending to be a food blogger. Ben's death was ruled a targeted assassination. Before he died, he wrote 3 final words in blood on his prison cell wall. He was hungry. Monica, a brave woman who tried to escape abuse, is now remembered as a silent hero. Cassie, who sought justice, became a victim of the very evil she tried to uncover. Ben, a smiling monster, left behind a trail of horror that still whispers in corners of the internet. And now, no one trusts food trucks that don't have websites. No one forgets to check their meat twice. And every year, on the anniversary of Monica's death, a mysterious white van drops red roses at her grave. With a note. Still cooking. Still tasting. Still watching. Bon appetit. September 18, 2024, Detroit, Michigan. A small food truck named The Midnight Grill appears downtown. No social media. No staff. No menu, only a chalkboard that reads, "Today's special, house meat melt." Locals line up. The smell is irresistible. But within a week, 4 people vanish. All of them had one thing in common. They ate from that truck. One woman, Ella Green, a recovering addict, says she remembers a strange taste in the sandwich. Metallic. Sour. She says the man inside the truck never spoke. He wore a butcher's apron and had a tattoo on his wrist. CB84. Detectives believe CB might stand for Chef Bone, Ben Carter's online alias, and 1984, the year he was born. But here's the catch. Ben Carter never had tattoos. Police in Detroit raid an old warehouse after following footage from a drone. Inside, a butcher table, a bloodied cutting saw, and a laptop left open, streaming to a dark web chat room called Dinner Club. In the chat, tonight's menu, City Girl Pie, pickled liver, and grilled ribs. Get your portions ready. But before police could trace the IP, the laptop shut itself off. Remotely. As if someone was watching. On the 5th anniversary of the murder, Monica's younger sister, Tasha Reed, now a nurse in Atlanta, does her first ever TV interview. Through tears, she says, "Ben Carter destroyed my family. But what haunts me most is the way he smiled in court, like he knew something we didn't. Like it wasn't over." She adds, "He once whispered to my mother, 'The real chef is still out there. I was just the appetizer.'" 3 weeks later, a USB drive is mailed to a small podcast show in Texas called Crime Bites. No note. Just the words, "Play" written in ketchup. The hosts play it live. It's a grainy, dimly lit video, shot in a kitchen. A man's face is never shown. Only his hands, gloved as he cuts something flesh-like and says calmly, "You know what makes people delicious?" And silence. He continues, "Ben was never the killer. He was just hungry. I was the chef. And now, I'm expanding. City by city. Cut by cut." The video ends with the screen fading to black and a whisper. Next stop, Atlanta. Atlanta, Georgia, October 31st, 2024. Halloween night. A pop-up truck appears at Piedmont Park. Same black truck. Same handwritten board. House meat melt, one night only. The line grows. The buzz builds. A food blogger posts, "Whoever runs this truck is a genius. This sandwich tastes alive." But 24 hours later, 6 people are missing. One of them is Tasha Reed. Investigators trace the truck through traffic cams. They find it abandoned in a junkyard. Inside the freezer, vacuum-sealed flesh. An eyeball floating in a jar. Tasha's phone, still recording. On the phone, a 12-minute audio file. It begins with her sobbing. "Please, just let me go. I didn't even want the sandwich. I was just trying to know the truth. Then, a man's voice, calm, theatrical. Do you know why Monica had to die? Because people only value a story once it's told with blood. Ben was weak. But you? You're perfect. The sister. The closure. The sacrifice that makes the story go viral. Then screaming. Then silence. The clip spreads like wildfire. TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, flooded with theories. Tasha's death is confirmed. The FBI confirms the dinner club is real. Run by an underground society of cannibals who use pop-up food trucks as bait. They live-stream the killings. They sell the meat. The group isn't just one man. It's global. Tasha's funeral is held. Hundreds attend. But during the live stream of her burial, the screen glitches for 2 seconds. A face flashes, grinning, maskless, holding a fresh sandwich. And in red letters, "You just ate the ending. We're just getting started." 2 weeks later, across different cities, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, people begin finding strange flyers on their windshields. Welcome to the final supper. One bite changes your life. The QR code leads to a dark web link. A live stream titled, "Next ingredient coming soon." Detective Alan Cruz, who had investigated Monica's disappearance, is haunted by guilt. He replays Tasha's audio every night. He can't sleep. He can't eat. His wife begs him to let it go. But then he finds a package outside his door. Inside, a bloody apron. A note. "You're next, chef." Alan was never a chef. Alan digs deeper into the original case files. And then he sees it. The first time Ben was arrested in 2019, the booking officer who processed him? Alan Cruz. He had laughed at Ben's story back then, cannibal club, cooking people, feeding influencers. Ben had whispered something to him. "You'll taste justice soon, detective." Alan had thought it was a joke. But he's not so sure. One night, Alan receives a USB drive anonymously. On it, a single video. A masked man in a dim kitchen. He speaks softly. "Monica tried to stop me. Tasha tried to expose me. But you created me." Then he removes his mask. It's not Ben. It's Alan himself. Or someone who looks exactly like him. The man smiles. And now the table turns. Suddenly, a loud knock hits Alan's front door. His phone dies. His lights flicker. He walks slowly to the door. Handshaking. He opens it. But 3 days later, Detective Alan Cruz hasn't been seen or heard from. His wife, Maria, files a missing persons report. The department brushes it off. Probably stress, they say. But Maria knows something's wrong. 1 week later, a jogger finds something floating under a bridge in Los Angeles. It's a cooler box, sealed tight, with a chef's knife symbol carved on top. Inside, a hand with Alan's wedding ring. A blood-soaked police badge. A note. He finally tasted what justice feels like. Maria collapses when she sees it. Their children are pulled from school. The funeral? Closed casket. But something's worse than death. The underground restaurant, now operating in New Orleans, releases a special menu on the dark web. Tonight's dish, Detective's Delight. Served with bitter herbs and broken promises. Guests laugh. They sip wine. They chew. They have no idea what they're eating. But some do. And they don't care. Weeks later, a video leaks online. It's Ben Clive. Smiling. Polished. He speaks directly to the camera. Some people fight the system. Some become the system. I serve it, one plate at a time. He steps aside to reveal new captives tied in chains. Among them, Maria. And her 2 kids. She screams. The children cry. Ben smiles. Welcome to the second course. Justice never came. Ben never paid. The system failed them all. But the worst part? No one believed it was real. Just another sick video on the internet. Another horror story they scroll past. They see someone they know.